Hey everyone, welcome to Weekend Project. I'm Laura Lynn of the Mama Pop Quilt Shop, and we're very happy to see you here today. Today we're working on a log cabin Santa ornament or hot pad or whatever you call it. I haven't found any English directions to this, nor really any measurements. I kind of just winged it. This is one that I made about, I think it's 6 years ago. I gave them away as gifts, and then I was gifted one a couple of years ago by Mary. She's my Bonnie Hunter girl, and it became an ornament for the tree. Hey, buddy. He wants his time. He wants his time. Come here. So we're going to make those up today. So I've got a different size going on, and I've got and I've got measurements. Come here, buddy. Come here. Hi. Oh, I know. Don't dig your claws in. It's okay. Mama loves you. Okay. Come here. And I've got measurements to do a good size one here. So I'll show you what it ended up. And this is not batted. This is just the size that I ended up making it. And I think that is a lovely for the door, to hang on the tree, to use as a decoration around the fireplace, anything to give as a gift to somebody. It's completely, and there's no batting in this one at all. There's no batting. Just the fabric of the front and the fabric of the back. Come here. Nobody wants to see your bum. There you go. And we just easily put that together very simply. Okay, so that's kind of the size it ends up being. It is approximately 13 inches long, and the widest point is about 8 inches from here to here. So I've done mine in a fashion where it's the Santa face, the beard, part of his outfit, his belt, more of his outfit, and then boots. So that's how I've designed it, and that's how we're going to put this one together here, okay? And I'll give you measurements. It will be in the description below because I don't want to make any mess ups of what here or there that I got going on. But we're going to start off with a 3-inch square of whatever color you want to be for your Santa face. So it can be, you know, browns and tans and yellows and fleshy tones and whatever. So I love this beautiful tan color. It's just kind of a, you know, neutral sort of shade, and we'll make 2 Santas out of it. So this actually, when you put this together and then you cut it, you end up with 2 Santas just like this. So this is a great project to do with family, and you can give one away. You keep one, give one away, you know, that sort of thing. It'd be a great idea. Fun, fun, fun. Okay, so there's the one I made like 6 years ago, and this is the one we're going to do today. Okay, so definitely a size difference, but I just thought it might be easier to, you know, be able to give these away as nice big gifts. So I did, clearly the green belt was not measured correctly, but I had fun and learning. All right, so you start off with your 3 by 3 inch square. And then you have your white pieces next after that. So you're going to add one on one side, just like building out, not necessarily a log cabin, because you're going to work on one side and then the next. So you're here and here, and then here and here, and then so on and so forth to build this out. And then when you get to that part, you're actually going to have something very similar to this, and then you're going to cut it right in half. Okay. So here, let's just flip that back over. Let's add the 2 pieces onto this one. Okay. Make sure we got our right side up on that one. I'm using some textured white this time around. The other one was just a plain white. So, and tried to stick within a 1/4 inch seam allowance. And it's kind of important to be able to press, because you really want to make sure all the seams are pressed flat before you work on the next set when trying to build out your Santa. And you could also, if you're not a Santa person, I actually kind of did this more as an elf formation, more like a Christmas elf sort of thing. So you don't, if your family is not into the Santa thing, then maybe make just an elf if they're okay with that, or maybe you can find something that would adapt to your family that would be nice to represent, Christmas. Okay. So once those 2 white bits get pulled on, we're going to put our other 2 white bits here. And these are 1 inches, okay? And this, of course, is 3, so that would be 1 by 3, 1 by 3, 1 by 4, and 1 by 4. No, you're not getting in my chair, homie. I swear, you hear the countdown and you come running. Yeah, I know you. He's a well-trained cat. Go 3, 2, 1. Hi, this is Laura Lynn of the Mom and Pop Quilt Shop. And he was like, hey, it's my showtime. And so when you're building this out, like I said, you're going to get two. You're going to get two faces out of this, whether it be elf faces or Santa faces or whatever it is you want to call them. Okay. And make sure you get them to fit within that space. You only need a 1/4 inch seam allowance. That is a very, very shy 1/4 inch over on that side. No wonder it was sitting weird. Okay, there we go. Same on this one. Go shy that one was. That's not a 1/4. It's like an 1/8. There we go. Much better. Okay, now we can reset our whites back up. Make sure the right side is down to the top, and then we'll give a press, and then we start with the red, because now we've done his face and his beard. And even elves have beard. You can still keep the whole tan or, you know, whatever color fabric, and you can use it as the center as the face, because it ends up being just chopped in half. Okay, so there's his, that'll be his face, and then that'll be his beard. Okay, just like that. Okay, so let's give that a little press. There's lots of pressing in this, I know. It just is what it is. Okay, and then we're going to start adding our red bits. Okay, I have it as 1 inch at first, and then we go to 1 1/2, and then we come back to 3/4 for the boots. Okay, so of course we're going to do the opposite sides of what we did, concealing everything together. Okay. And this is a very fun project to bust your scraps with. You can use maybe different types of red. You could really make it a scrappy Santa. There's many different, you can make it so it's an advent calendar. You can make, 24 of them, and you have a little secret pocket. Maybe you can seal up the bottom here, and that's a great little pocket to hold something or candy or something. That would be kind of lovely, right? So I was making a little puppet. Hello, I'm Santa Claus. Ho, ho, ho. And we'll just keep sewing. And use different sorts of reds. Like this is very textured pattern red with very textured pattern blue. I'm using the textured white with the solid red. It's be fun and creative in what you have in your stash. You can, no matter what, I think it's going to look really good. Okay, so we'll just give those a little finger press. Where's our other ones here? Okay, and then these one end up being approximately 1 by 5 1/4. Okay, and we're just going to line them up and then sew them. Sew them on down. Make sure we're staying even with the other corner. Okay. And the other side. And just slowly building out your beautiful Santa face. And of course, like I said, you get two Santas in one, or elves, or whatever you want to do. You can do shades of brown with, like, for hooves and stuff like that, and make it reindeers. Add some stitches with, embroidery floss, and you're off to the races. Okay, so there we go. Okay, so we'll give that a little press, and then we'll start on the next bit, which would be his belt. That's what we're going to try and color-wise. I think I have this. I think I have the black actually this time around. I was using for the boots on the other one. Yes, I do. Okay. Okay. There we go. We should have for each side there, and then this one would go here and here. Okay, for that one. So and this is some of the snowflake fabric, black snowflake fabric left over from the border pieces of doing the red, royal red on the weekend. We finished the royal red quilt up, cardinal. Just a bit of a little scrappy bits left over. So reusing, recycle, and making something really cute. So I hope. All right, so add this to the other side. There. Line it up. Try and make it nice and straight. Try and go with the straight part of the fabric the more than the corners. They may kind of poke up a bit. Okay. All right, there we go. And we'll give those a little finger press before we add the other side. Okay. And those should be, I think it's 6 and a bit. Let's measure those. Sorry. These would be 3/4 by 6. Yep, 3/4 by 6. Or you can make them thicker if you want a bigger belt. You could actually add a button where you think maybe the belt buckle would be. There's lots of things that you could add. You can make a little sequence shape for the belt buckle after you got it all sewn together. That would be very cute and add that extra touch and sparkle for sure. Of course, there's many buttons and features on sewing machines now that you could probably use for eyes and mouth and maybe even a belt buckle. And you probably just use a nice little zigzag stitch and stitch it out with gold thread or something. Okay. All right, so there is our Santa face, beard, first part of the jacket, the belt, and as you see, we're working our way. Okay, so let's give that a little press, and then we'll do the rest of the suit. Okay. And then I have stuff that's kind of partially done, so you can kind of see where we're going with it without taking up too much of your time today. And then we have the bigger, this is the 1.5 by, of course, it would have to be 6 inches, 1.5 by 6. Okay, so we're making a bigger suit. And you can use smaller pieces if you like. I'm trying to make it so it looks good and being the size that it is. So, like I said, this is my own made-up pattern. There's always been images on the web with the Santa log cabin, so, but nothing, no really real instructions that I found. Okay. I'm not saying that there isn't any out there. I looky-looed, but I don't have the world time to spend on looky-looing. Okay. And I really want to share this one because it's one of my favorites, and I like it that you get 2 for 1. So you can make one for yourself and one for a neighbor, or, you know, make many, you know, go 3 at a time, and then you've got 6. So you can give 6 away, right, once you get it all done. Now, these don't have to be quilted. They certainly can be. The first one I did is not quilted. The second one I will show you today. I will show you that we will kind of quilt it up a little bit, so you can see that there's many different options of how you would like to finish it. If you quilt it, maybe if you want to use it as a hot pad in its form before it gets actually cut, like this form, okay? This one I added buttons for eyes, okay? You could have it just like this with a little mouth, whatever, and have it as a hot pad without actually, you know, turning it into the shape it needs to be the hanger, okay? So there's many different ways to go about the project, that's for sure. And I just, like I said, just sewed on buttons for eyes. But you could use a big X with the embroidery floss, or even with a Sharpie marker. I don't see why anything would be, you know, too bad. Okay, there we go. Beautiful Santa outfit coming together. We're going to press that before I put our other little strip on, and then our boots, okay? So you can kind of see what we got. And you can be very flexible in your pieces and your cuts and stuff like that. You want to make it smaller, start off with a smaller square, work yourself around a few layers, make sure you have the belt and the boots and the jacket, that sort of thing incorporated, and then you're good to go. Okay, I think we needed to cut some. That's what it was here. Okay. So at this point, we're looking at 6 1/4. Let's just make sure. Yeah, it looks like 6 1/4. So let's cut that. Or sorry, 8 1/4, not 6 1/4. How could it be 8 and 6 1/4? I apologize. My mistake. Okay, let's go quarter. And then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Okay, so that will be on this side and that side, and then we'll sew those on, and then we'll get the other cut sizes that we need for the other 2 sides. So as you're going along, it ends up being something exactly like this in shape and size, sort of like design. So if you went and pinched it in half, you would see the Santa face right there, and of course we're going to add the top to the Santa. So you want to make sure it's kind of the same red that you're using to build out the Santa body as you are for the Santa head. Okay. I just find it looks much better. Put that off to the side. Okay, so once you get it to this form and you've got your face, your beard, your suit, your belt, your more of his suit and his boots, you go and you take it and then you're like, oh my gosh, I just made this. But yeah, you're going to cut it right in half. Okay, right in half. Okay, just like that. And then this is where you can put your eyes on if you want. Make sure you take the same piece that you had to piece this, but that's okay. Same piece that you have for the suit, cut that in half. Make sure it's the same size that you're working with, okay? And this becomes sewn together, and that becomes sewn together, and gives you something just like that, okay? Once you get them all stitched up. And then when you get to this part, this is where you could either quilt it or non-quilt. If you weren't going to quilt it, then you just lay your backing right on top. So all the way around, giving a space probably up in here at the top of the hat. I did it on the space on this side because I knew when I was going to sew these two sides together, it was going to seal it up. So I didn't have to do any extra stitches. And then turn it right side out. So, but with this one, we're actually just going to do a little quilting. We'll do across the top of the hat here, maybe around the belt and the boot or something, okay? And of course, you can put your walking foot on here or your free motion foot, whatever it is you like. I think I just did straight stitches before, so we'll just do straight stitch. And of course, you can use red thread. We'll just go ahead and use white. Just stitch a little bit bigger though. Okay. Now, if you were going to use this as a hot pad, I clearly would not put buttons as eyes. You know, do a little stitch out, do embroidery floss, maybe even felt circles, something like that. That would be okay. And let's go on either side of the belt. Okay. Try and keep it even. Let's go down by the boot. Down by where the boots are going to be. Perfect. So you're just doing like a stabilizing so it stays all together. I had some white batting chunks left over, so I just thought that would be nice and flat. And of course it's 100% cotton, so if they do decide to use it as a hot pad, it would be okay. Though it's not very thick, but okay. So that's... Just do some basic stitches, okay? And then you're going to add the top on. So all the way around. Of course, you want to make it bigger than the base itself. Okay, go back under here. Start about there because I want to leave that room for turning. Okay. I'm just going to go all the way around. And we'll trim it afterwards. Make sure we're getting everybody in there. You can kind of see where the dark fabric is, but you may have to trim your fabric or your batting first. Okay, and come around the other side. I think they look good either way, whether you have batting or not. So I just leave the option up to you, and you do what you like. And what you have on hand. A lot of people don't have batting, and they feel that maybe they're deterred from a project because they don't have the batting. You know, if you got some scrap fabric that's a little bit thicker, you can always add that in there. So, and come down a little bit so you're getting a nice precise point, and then you're leaving a gap to turn things right side out. Okay, so here we're going to trim all the way around. Just a little bit out from our stitches. Okay. There we go. And here. And then we go and through this little tiny hole, we're going to go down here and reach for the very bottom point and poke it out, and over here to this point and poke it out, and then just slowly turn it so the right side of the project is outside and the inside is all tucked in together. Okay, and then this comes in handy, this little tool. Okay, poke out those corners because they're you kind of need them. You want them to be precise. You want them to be pointed. And that's why we make sure that when we did the top, We came around the corner first to give it a nice precise point. Okay, so that off to the side. Okay, here's what it would look like if you just left it as a hot pad and then just a little stitch all the way around. You could totally do that. Maybe even put a pom-pom or a jingly bell or something like that at the top. You know, either would look lovely. Okay, so cute. And then when you want to make it just like this here, you take these two corners and you fold them together, and this is where you're going to seal up your little spot where you're returning anyways. Okay, just make sure your red fabric and your white fabric are catching. Okay, and leave a little gap at the top here so you can be able to thread either some yarn or some twine, or you know, you're braiding something, or you've got ribbon or what have you. Okay, so come down pretty much close to the bottom. I wouldn't go all the way because it's going to be thick in that corner, so don't be you know, having to go all the way down. Do a back stitch for sure. Line everybody up and then just do a nice straight stitch all the way across the top. Okay. And closing everybody together. And like I said, leave a little gap so you can thread your ribbon through, attach a bell, whatever, a pom-pom, and then you're going to take this, and with your handy tool, you're going to poke it so it's all the same way, all the way out. Ow, ow, no, 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 Mr. Clive. No, no, no. There's big claws out too. All right, and you just poke it right up. And like I say, you can put a pom-pom, you can put, kind of want the point a little bit more closer, a bell, a ribbon, you can dangle a ribbon from the top, making sure you could have the tie it there, and then dangle, you know, a little bell or what have you, and then you can just give it a little press, and it's all good to go. And that's what we have is, oh, you can make a lovely little, stitch them all together, and you got this nice little fan-shaped table runner thingy. Oh, that looks kind of cool. New ideas all the time. Yeah, so thank you very much. We greatly appreciate it here at the Mom and Pop Quilt Shop. Don't forget to hang out with us tomorrow. We're going to start a new project working on Pop's snowflake project or quilt for this year, for 2019, for Christmas quilt. We're very excited to start that, that's for sure. So thank you, everybody. And then on Sunday, Munchkin and I are finishing his block of the months for his Future Fantasy Fun quilt on the 8th at 11 a.m. Eastern. Okay, so join us there for a live stream. Munchkin and I hanging out for a couple hours at least. It's going to take that long to put this project together. Thank you, everybody. Take care. Big hugs from us at the Mom and Pop Quilt Shop. Oh, and Clyde too. You heard him. You heard him. Take care, everybody. Have a fantastic weekend.